But I want to turn to the next question, and Aina, I want you to take this question because many believe that China is the X factor in global equation, the elephant in the room. You know that country well. Do you believe, how is China looking at this upended world order?
Well, I mean, from the Chinese perspective, they see it different. I mean, for the last 600 years, you've had dominant countries from, colonialism, basically raping, robbing, and pillaging throughout the world, and justifying it based on religion or because they're superior or ethnic issues, whatever. China believes that that is a dead end and that we're coming to the end of that era. They think that the future is something where you have a lot of nations who have to work together. That instead of trying to put ideology at the center of the world, what you should have is values. They think that every country should be secure, and their security should not depend on the insecurity of another nation.
No, what are these shared values? What are the values that China, for example, shares with the United States, apart from wanting power? It's all about power. Is it about any values out there when you talk about G2?
No, I don't, and I reject. I think most people in China reject this as just a way of trying to slight Russia and other countries. China is not interested in G2. They originally were. They said, well, we should sit down and try to work things out. But they realize now that it's a multipolar world. If you look at it in terms of values, what they're talking about is security, development, respect for sovereignty, and having a global order which does not involve using tanks and instead trying to have talks. So it's a clash of different ideas. The U.S. believes that everything should be ideological based on what American exceptionalism.
And China believes this geoeconomics. Am I right? China believes that economic power must translate into commensurate political power.
No, I don't agree with that. It's what they see is that for China especially, what they want to do is be able to import resources and add value and export them in order to have a virtuous cycle. What they would like is to have other countries to start growing, because if they can grow, they can buy more goods. So they see something as a positive upswing, whereas, Donald Trump sees the world as a zero-sum game in which the U.S. is going to take everything it can.
Adele, you want to make a quick point, a very quick one, please?
I would love to. I have to just preface by saying I love China. I lived there briefly. I visited many times. It is a beautiful, beautiful country with so much to offer. But I have to answer that when it comes to the shared values between the United States and China, they don't share values in the Western liberal sense. What they do share are interests, incentives, and behaviors that are rooted in power, prosperity, and stability. And that's where you have to look at it as. You have to look at it as a
Don't tell me what I have to look at. Your brief acquaintance with China and your age does not make you appropriate for making judgments about things that you have not experienced. The fact is, you just said that everything is ideological. And I was making the point that what they believe is that it's based on values, not the values of ideology, but the values of human existence. Coexistence.
Quick final, you want to respond once more?
I don't agree that respectfully. I don't agree that respectfully. I think that there are two different sets of ideological values that govern both nations. And I think that that is to be expected, to be believed. And frankly, if you're going to have what we're seeing here is a head-to-head between two great monoliths, the US and China, you're literally going to have a head-to-head battle over two different ideological purviews, the East and the West. Certain core, if you look at the family values too, very different in many ways. And it's not a bad thing.
Okay,